Shalom, people. This is Brother Laos coming at you with another video. And Vice President Kamala Harris visited Ghana recently here. And during her visit, one of the subjects that she, I guess, was in deliberation with the Ghanaian president and indeed the Ghanaian people was the upcoming bill that they have before their legislative body on the LGBTQ. I think the bill is saying that if you're caught in the LGBTQ lifestyle, that you could get up to 10 years in prison. And this is going on at the same time that we know that Uganda passed the bill that stated if you're caught in the LGBTQ lifestyle, you could be given a death penalty because of that. Now, America is trying to strengthen its relations with the African nations, although we know that America has been part of one of the reasons why the African nations have struggled along with the West, because of their coups and because of their sanctions against certain other African nations, because of supposedly violations of their laws and different things. But at the same time, you got Russia and China that's on the continent now, with China giving loans to African nations to build infrastructure and everything, and Russia bringing in its military and military contractors to help the African nations with some of these insurgencies and other problems that they're having with their neighbors, and seemingly being more effective than what the West has been with their military assistance. Whatever the case may be, America, even though they understand that China and Russia are actively seeking, America will not lessen its stance on the LGBTQ when it comes to dealing with these African nations. And we know that the African nations have always had this stance. It's nothing new. It's against their culture to do it, and it's their right. But because of the population of Africa being the youngest population in the world, and also being one of the fastest growing populations, because of wicked men like Bill Gates, because of wicked men like the United Nations in America and all these other places that is talking about global warming and talk about possible food shortages, and then they gotta impose restrictions on childbirth and everything. They want to, I believe, impose this LGBTQ in order to bring about a population control. It has nothing to do, I believe, with them wanting the LGBT community to have certain rights. I do also believe that within a lot of these governments and a lot of these things, they know the Bible. They know that this type of activity brings about a curse upon our people, right? There's a reason why the West, the Gentiles, were able to come and take over, not just because it was Japheth's time to definitely rule on this earth. It was every brother of Noah's 3 sons had their chance to rule. You had the Hamitic nations, kingdoms, and then you had the Shemitic kingdoms. Lastly, now you have the Japhetic kingdoms. But part of the Japhetic mindset is the LGBTQ. Part of the Greek thought is the LGBTQ. Part of the Roman thought is the LGBTQ. Which America is a derivative of Rome, a derivative of Greece, Greek thought. It's thoughts of Aristotle, Plato, all of these people embrace the LGBTQ. Now, of course, they had a Christian veneer where they covered it over and said it's against the law and all these things, but underneath the surface, it was still going on strong. We can see that during the slave trade, what they did to some of our men and our boys with the buck breaking. We can see that, right? But they still, it seemed, was able to continue to exist without Yah raining down fire and brimstone upon them. Why? Because he said, when you have a one that is not your child, why would you chastise them? Not that they didn't get chastised in certain senses, but they're not my child. But when my child engages in this wickedness, they're gonna suffer. Think about when HIV and all these things came out. What people groups has suffered the most from it, from engaging in this? It's been our community. And so what they're trying to do is to continue to cause these people to sin. What did Paul say in 1 Corinthians? He said, he that committed these sexual sins against his own body. And indeed, their time is coming down to an end. But if they can get us to continue in these sins. Now, fornication is evil, it's wicked, it's no doubt about it. But it's something about that LGBTQ lifestyle that brings an extra punishment. When you see in the book of Genesis where the Bible said Yah himself came down to see here because of the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah, because he wanted to see all together if it was like it was. Now, does that mean that he did not know? No, he knew. But what he was trying to show, that because the urgency of this sin was so bad, right, that he had to stomp it out at that time. Because if you know anything about, when Abraham and all them, the Tower of Babel and mankind coming off the ark, it had not been that long. And Yah understood, I got to stomp this stuff out before it gets so ingrained in the minds of this Sodom and Gomorrah type thinking that the world population will not be able to grow. It will be deadened. So I have to come and I have to destroy not only Sodom and Gomorrah, but all the cities of the plains. It was not just Sodom and Gomorrah, but all those little cities that was in between Sodom and Gomorrah. He had to destroy them too, to destroy this LGBTQ lifestyle. Of course, it didn't wipe it out. It stayed. But it found a home in the Japhetic nations. It found a home in the Greek thought. And we see that again, they're using the power of the purse in order to try to corner some of these African nations who have wicked leaders that have taken bribes and taken money and everything. And basically it seems like in the case of Ghana, they're telling them, I guess they can forgive certain loans that they have if they allow this. So after Kamala Harris' visit was over, when she left, they said, they showed a picture, I guess the place where the president of Ghana lived, where their government is called the Jubilee House. So that night, somebody took the rainbow flag, the lights, and they flashed it on the Jubilee House, so that they had the rainbow on the Jubilee House. Sort of like when Barack Obama passed the legislation that made LGBTQ marriage legal, that it was a signal to the LGBTQ that progress is being made. And then when you had that report that came out, I guess by Go Black to Africa, showing that Hebrew Israelite resort being tore down, and then they had a recording of some chief out of Cape Coast. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. I'm just going by the video in the audio that I heard, he stated something to the fact that because that was prime real estate, they had some backers that wanted to build a resort for those that were of the LGBTQ lifestyle. And it wouldn't be hard for me to believe that, because you have been seeing a parade of movie stars who are big supporters of LGBTQ that have been coming to Ghana. You had Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. You had Albert Idris, the movie star, and he's talking about building a movie studio and all these other kind of things. They've been getting these visitations, and of course they've been probably sitting in sleepers, and some of their own diaspora, meaning Ghanaians that were born abroad and but came back, that have citizenship through their parents or their grandparents one time. Of course, some of them are coming back. They are part of the LGBTQ lifestyle. They have money and funds and land and all these things. They probably have influence. And if they don't take a hard stance, then not only are they not going to be able to pass that bill, but it's just a matter of time before, again, there's going to be an acknowledgement of it, just like in Kenya, where after the secretary, I think it was the Secretary of State of the United States, had came there, and they said after he left, the Supreme Court or something did something to say that some kind of acknowledgement of the LGBTQ. So we must pray for our brothers and sisters in Africa that they do not allow this stuff to come in and to continue cause the wrath of Yah, which is already there, right? Because the Bible said that when this thing comes, it's going to be upon the whole earth, but even more so on them if they allow this thing to come. We already know that fornication is definitely evil, wicked, and we know polygamy and all that stuff that's going on in West Africa in particular is not of the Most High Yah. But when you throw this into the mix, I think it would raise it up into another level where you talking about here recently you had in Mozambique that longest tracking typhoon in history that stayed in that part of the world for, I guess it was like 30 days and devastated large portions of Mozambique. If our people over there in Africa don't get their act together, you can start seeing even more of these type of natural disasters that are indeed going on in the West, but can be multiplied many times on the continent if they give in to this. So we pray for you. We pray that you don't let this people money. I know things is hard. Things is getting ready to get hard for everybody with all this stuff that's going on here in America with the banks, folding and the dollar getting weak and other certain nations dumping the dollar. It's going to be tough for everybody. So please don't. Yah will take care of you if you're a believer in Yeshua HaMashiach. I got to say that your trust got to be in him, whether or not your nation capitulates or not. Yah will take care of you. But don't be silent while you got a chance. You got the ears of your politicians. Tell them you do not want this thing in your country. You do not want it to be acknowledged. So with that, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to ask you to give this video a thumbs up. Be blessed.